Take a slow breath in and gently let it go. Today we're talking about something that affects nearly 94 million Americans. Yet most people don't fully understand it. High cholesterol. It's a phrase that sounds scary, but here's the truths. Cholesterol itself is not the enemy. Your body actually needs cholesterol to survive. It helps you make hormones, repair damaged cells, digest food, and even support your brain. In fact, your brain contains more cholesterol than almost any other part of your body. So cholesterol is not the problem. The problem is imbalance. In the United States, doctors focus on three important numbers. The first is LDL, often called the bad cholesterol. When LDL becomes too high, it begins to stick to the walls of your arteries, forming plaque that makes the arteries stiffer and narrower over time. This is why high LDL increases the risk of heart attack and stroke. Not suddenly, but slowly and silently. The second number is HDL, the good cholesterol. Think of HDL as a tiny cleanup crew. It moves through your bloodstream, picking up excess cholesterol and carrying it back to the liver so your body can remove it safely. And then there are triglycerides, the fats floating in your blood. This number rises when you eat too much sugar, drink soda, eat white bread and pastries, sleep too little, or carry extra belly fat. In fact, high triglycerides are closely linked to fatty liver, a condition that now affects 1 out of every 3 American adults. But here's something most people have never been told. Not all LDL is the same. There's a larger, fluffier type of LDL that's less harmful. And then there's a small, dense type of LDL that is far more dangerous because it easily slips into artery walls and causes blockages. And the surprising part is this: it's sugar and refined carbs, not fat, that turn LDL into the small, dense, harmful form. That's why many people in the US struggle with high cholesterol, even when they say, "I don't eat much fatty food." Perhaps the most concerning part of all is that high cholesterol has no symptoms. None. No pain. No discomfort. No clear warnings. You can feel perfectly fine while plaque is quietly building inside your arteries year after year. That's why high cholesterol is called a silent condition. But you don't have to fear it. Your body is always trying to return to balance. High cholesterol is not a failure, it's a message. A gentle reminder that something inside you needs attention, support, and healing. And when this imbalance continues for a long time, slow, quiet changes start happening inside your arteries. Changes that can eventually lead to serious problems if ignored, and that's exactly what we'll explore next as we move into part 2. Why high cholesterol becomes dangerous and what actually happens inside your body over time. Why high cholesterol is dangerous. When cholesterol stays in balance for many years, something quiet begins to happen inside your body. It doesn't hurt, it doesn't announce itself. But deep inside your arteries, slow changes start building up. Changes that millions of Americans don't notice until it's too late. This is the true danger of high cholesterol. It isn't about a single high number on a lab test. It's about what that number does to your blood vessels over time. Imagine the inside of a healthy artery, smooth, flexible, and open, almost like a clean, polished highway. Blood flows easily, carrying oxygen to your heart, your brain, and every part of your body. But when LDL stays high, it starts sticking to the artery walls. At first, it's just a thin layer. Then, little by little, that layer thickens. Your immune system tries to fix the damage, but in doing so, it creates even more inflammation. The artery begins to narrow, harden, stiffen. This slow buildup is called plaque. It's the beginning of atherosclerosis, one of the leading causes of illness and death in the United States. And here's where things become dangerous. A hardened artery doesn't stretch and flex the way it should. Your heart has to pump harder to push blood through it. Over time, this can lead to high blood pressure, even if you've never had it before. And as the plaque grows, it reduces blood flow, especially to the heart and the brain. This is how high cholesterol sets the stage for 2 of the most feared medical emergencies in America: heart attacks and strokes. A heart attack happens when plaque inside a heart artery suddenly breaks open. Your body rushes to form a clot to repair the area, but the clot itself can block the artery completely. In just seconds, Oxygen can't reach part of the heart muscle, and damage begins. The same thing can happen in the brain. When plaque ruptures and forms a clot, blood flow to a part of the brain stops. That's when a stroke occurs. The terrifying thing is that people often have no warning until the moment it happens. But that's not the only risk. High cholesterol can also impact your liver. When triglycerides go up, especially from sugar and refined carbohydrates, excess fat begins storing inside liver cells. This is how fatty liver, or MASLD, develops. Today, fatty liver affects more than 1/3 of American adults. And many people don't know they have it until the condition becomes serious. High cholesterol is also connected to insulin resistance, which is a major driver of type 2 diabetes. When your cells stop responding well to insulin, your body produces more and more of it. High insulin not only raises blood sugar, it also raises triglycerides and increases inflammation throughout the body. This creates a cycle that makes your cholesterol numbers worse over time. So when we talk about high cholesterol being dangerous, we're not just talking about a lab result. We're talking about a long chain of silent changes in the arteries. The heart, the brain, the liver, and the metabolism, all happening quietly in the background. And the real challenge is that most people don't know any of this is happening because they feel completely normal. That's why understanding cholesterol is not about fear. It's about awareness. It's about knowing what's happening inside your body so you can support it before problems appear, not after. And now that we understand the dangers, the next question becomes, what are the early signs that your body is starting to struggle even before blood tests show a problem? That's exactly what we'll explore in part 3. Early signs most Americans ignore. One of the most confusing things about high cholesterol is that it rarely shows obvious symptoms. People often say, but I feel fine, or I don't have any chest pain, so my cholesterol must be okay. The truth is that high cholesterol is silent, but your body isn't. Long before a heart attack, long before a stroke, long before a doctor ever warns you, the body whispers. And if you pay attention, these whispered signs can tell you that something inside needs balance, support, or healing. You might notice feeling unusually tired after meals, especially meals high in carbohydrates like pasta, bread, or sweets. This isn't just normal aging. When triglycerides rise and insulin spikes, the body struggles to manage sugar properly, leaving you drained, heavy, or even sleepy right after eating. This can be an early sign that your metabolism and cholesterol are working harder than they should. Another early signal is persistent bloating or discomfort after heavy meals. When arteries stiffen and blood flow becomes less efficient, digestion slows down. Your stomach may feel full for too long, or you may feel pressure in your upper abdomen. Many Americans blame this on spicy food or acid reflux, but sometimes it's actually the body hinting at deeper circulatory imbalance. You may also notice cold hands or feet, or a tingling sensation that comes and goes. When plaque begins narrowing the arteries, even just slightly, circulation becomes less efficient, especially to your extremities. Your fingers may feel colder than usual. Your feet may fall asleep more easily. These little sensations often appear years before any major complication. For some people, the skin also sends early messages. Dry, itchy, or easily inflamed skin can be a sign of poor blood flow or internal inflammation linked to cholesterol imbalance. When your arteries tighten, your skin receives less oxygen and fewer nutrients, causing it to lose its natural glow. Another overlooked sign is waking up in the middle of the night. Especially between 2 and 4 a.m., many people think this is just stress. Sometimes it is. But it can also be related to unstable blood sugar, high triglycerides, or the early stages of fatty liver. When the liver struggles, your sleep cycle becomes lighter and more disrupted. And then there is the most common sign of all. Belly fat, especially the deep, firm fat around the waist. Americans often call it the stubborn middle or apple shape. This type of fat isn't just sitting there. It is actively producing hormones and inflammatory chemicals that raise LDL, lower HDL, and increase triglycerides. Even a small increase in waist size can be one of the earliest indicators that cholesterol imbalance is beginning. None of these signs prove high cholesterol on their own, but together, they paint a picture. They are quiet reminders that the body is working harder than it should. And the beautiful thing is that your body always tries to warn you gently before anything serious happens. Now that we've explored these early whispers, let's move into something even more important. Why does cholesterol rise in the first place? The foods we eat, yes, but also stress, sleep, hormones, liver health, and daily habits. All of these play a much bigger role than most people think. It's exactly what we'll explore in Part 4. What actually causes high cholesterol? Most people think high cholesterol comes from eating too much fat, but the truth is much more complex. The number one driver is actually sugar and refined carbohydrates. These foods raise insulin, increase triglycerides, and create the small, dense LDL particles that clog arteries. Chronic stress also plays a major role. High cortisol pushes the liver to release more sugar, raises triglycerides, and increases inflammation inside the arteries. Poor sleep, especially under 6 hours, disrupts metabolism and causes the body to store more fat in the blood. For women, menopause naturally raises LDL and lowers HDL because estrogen declines. And if the liver becomes stressed or develops fatty liver, it can no longer process cholesterol properly, causing levels to rise even without eating fatty foods, eating late at night, sitting for long hours, and carrying extra belly fat quietly worsen cholesterol over time. High cholesterol doesn't happen from one mistake. It's the result of many small imbalances in hormones, stress, sleep, liver health, blood sugar, and daily habits, slowly adding up over the years. Why cholesterol goes up? Root causes. If you've ever wondered why cholesterol rises, you're not alone. Most Americans think it comes from eating too much fatty food, but the truth is far more complex and far more hopeful. High cholesterol is rarely caused by just one thing. It's usually the result of many small habits, small stresses, and small imbalances that slowly add up over the years. And once you understand these root causes, healing becomes much easier and much more natural. One of the biggest drivers is something most people never expect: sugar and refined carbohydrates. When you eat foods like white bread, pastries, donuts, sweetened coffee, soda, or even too much pasta, your blood sugar rises quickly. Your body responds by producing more insulin. Over time, high insulin turns into insulin resistance, and that resistance triggers higher triglycerides, lower HDL, and more of the dangerous small, dense LDL particles. That's why someone can avoid fatty foods yet still have high cholesterol. It's not the fat, it's the sugar. Another major factor is stress, something millions of Americans live with every single day. When you're under chronic stress, the hormone cortisol rises. High cortisol tells your liver to release more sugar into your bloodstream, which then raises insulin and increases triglycerides. Stress also causes inflammation, and inflammation damages the artery walls, making it easier for LDL to stick and form plaque. Even emotional stress from work, caregiving, or financial worries can have a silent impact on cholesterol levels. Sleep is another hidden root cause. Sleep is when the body repairs arteries, lowers inflammation, and resets metabolism. But when you sleep less than 6 to 7 hours, or your sleep is constantly disrupted, triglycerides tend to rise. Your appetite hormones shift, leading to more cravings for carbs and sweets the next day. Over time, this creates a cycle that pushes cholesterol higher without you realizing it. For many women, menopause plays a major role. When estrogen naturally declines, LDL goes up, HDL goes down, and fat begins collecting around the belly more easily. This is not your fault, it's physiology. But with the right diet and habits, it's absolutely possible to bring those numbers back into a healthy range. Another overlooked cause is liver health. The liver is the organ that manages cholesterol. It makes it, processes it, and removes it. When the liver becomes overloaded or develops fatty liver, cholesterol levels often rise even if your diet hasn't changed. This is why supporting the liver can indirectly improve cholesterol imbalance, and then there's timing of eating. Many Americans eat late dinners or snack at night. Eating close to bedtime makes it harder for the body to burn triglycerides and process fats effectively. Over the years, this pattern contributes to weight gain, higher triglycerides, and lower HDL. Lastly, lack of movement plays a powerful role. You don't need intense workouts. Even 20 to 30 minutes of gentle walking can help the body use fats. For energy, raise HDL and soften the impact of insulin resistance. But modern life keeps many people sitting for hours, which slows metabolism and allows cholesterol to rise quietly. So when cholesterol numbers creep upward, it's not a single mistake. It's a combination of lifestyle patterns. Daily stress, hormonal changes, sleep habits, and metabolic shifts. And this is good news because it means you don't need a perfect diet or extreme measures. A few small, consistent changes can make a remarkable difference. Now that we understand why cholesterol rises, the next question becomes the most important. 1. What should you eat, and what should you avoid to bring your cholesterol back into balance? In Part 5, we'll explore the most powerful foods that naturally lower LDL, raise HDL, reduce inflammation, and support your liver and heart. What to eat, the lipid-lowering diet? Now that we understand why cholesterol rises, let's move into the part most people are waiting for, the foods that can truly help bring your numbers back into balance. Not extreme diets, not starving yourself, not cutting out entire food groups. It's just real simple, everyday foods that support the heart, the liver, the metabolism, and the arteries. And the beautiful thing is this: when you feed your body the right nutrients, it begins to repair itself naturally, quietly, gently, and steadily. One of the most powerful foods you can eat is oatmeal, especially steel-cut or old-fashioned. Oats. Oats are rich in soluble fiber, which acts like a sponge inside your digestive system, binds to LDL, and helps remove it from your body before it enters your bloodstream. Studies from Harvard show that eating oats regularly can lower LDL by 5 to 15%, not overnight, but consistently over time. A simple bowl of oatmeal a few times a week can make a noticeable difference. Next are fatty fish, such as salmon, sardines, mackerel, or trout. These fish are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which help lower triglycerides, calm inflammation, and even make LDL particles larger and less harmful. Many Americans think of omega-3 south only for brain health, but their effect on cholesterol and heart health is just as powerful. Even eating fish 2 times a week can shift your numbers in the right direction. Another hero food is extra virgin olive oil. Not all oils are created equal, and olive oil stands out because it's rich in antioxidants, called polyphenols. These compounds help reduce inflammation inside the arteries and improve HDL function, helping your body remove cholesterol more effectively. Placing butter, margarine, or seed oils with extra virgin olive oil is one of the simplest changes. With the biggest impact, then we have avocados, a favorite in many American kitchens. Avocados contain heart-healthy monounsaturated fats that lower LDL and raise HDL. They also contain fiber and antioxidants that support liver health. Even half an avocado a day can help improve cholesterol ratios. Nuts, especially almonds and walnuts, are another powerful tool. Almonds help raise HDL and reduce LDL oxidation, while walnuts are rich in plant-based omega-3 south that calm inflammation. Studies show that eating a small handful of nuts daily can lower LDL by up to 10%. Beans and lentils are also fantastic for cholesterol balance. They're high in soluble fiber and plant protein, and they digest slowly, helping stabilize blood sugar and reduce insulin spikes. This means fewer triglycerides and less of the dangerous small, dense LDL. Don't forget berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries. These are rich in antioxidants that protect your arteries from oxidative stress. Berries also support better blood sugar control, which indirectly lowers triglycerides. Leafy greens, such as spinach, kale, and Swiss chard, help lower inflammation and provide nutrients that support the liver, the organ responsible for processing cholesterol. Even one extra serving of greens each day can begin shifting your numbers. And then there's green tea, simple habit with big benefits. Green tea contains catechins that support the breakdown of fats and improve cholesterol metabolism. 1 or 2 cups a day is a gentle, natural way to support healthier lipid levels. Finally, foods rich in natural fats like flaxseed and chia seeds provide plant-based omega-3 south and fiber that help reduce triglycerides and support heart health. Adding them to yogurt, oatmeal, or smoothies is an easy habit that fits into almost any lifestyle. What's important to remember is this: you don't need to eat everything on this list. Even choosing 2 or 3 of these foods consistently can create meaningful changes. Healing is not about perfection. It's about nourishment. It's about feeding your body what it needs to support your arteries, your liver, and your heart, now that you know what to eat. The next step is equally important. What should you avoid to protect your heart and lower cholesterol naturally? That's exactly what we'll explore in Part 6. What to avoid foods that harm cholesterol balance? Now that we've talked about the foods that help your cholesterol heal, it's time to look at the foods that quietly push your numbers in the wrong direction. And the key word here is quietly. Most people don't realize how strongly certain foods affect LDL, HDL, triglycerides, and inflammation, not because these foods are bad, but because they interfere with your body's natural ability to stay in balance. One of the most harmful culprits is trans fat, which is still found in many processed and fried foods. Trans fat doesn't just raise LDL, it creates the dangerous, small, dense particles that slip into artery walls and form plaque. It also lowers HDL, your protective cholesterol. Foods like fast food fries, packaged pastries, non-dairy creamers, and some microwave popcorns often contain these hidden fats. Even small amounts can have a big impact over time. Another group to watch out for is processed meats, things like bacon, sausage, pepperoni, and deli meats. These foods are high in saturated fat, but the bigger issue is the preservatives and additives they contain. These compounds increase inflammation and oxidative stress, both of which make cholesterol more likely to stick to your arteries. Many Americans eat these foods daily without realizing how much they strain the heart and liver. Next are sugary drinks, sodas, sweet teas, flavored coffees, energy drinks, and fruit juices with added sugar. These beverages send your blood sugar soaring, which triggers insulin spikes and increases triglycerides almost immediately. High triglycerides are a major contributor to fatty liver and small, dense LDL. Even 1 or 2 sugary drinks a day can dramatically affect your numbers, especially in older adults. Refined carbohydrates fall into the same category. Foods like white bread, white rice, crackers, pastries, and most breakfast cereals break down into sugar rapidly in the bloodstream. Many people are surprised to learn that a bowl of white rice or a store-bought muffin can raise triglycerides just as much as candy. These foods also fuel cravings, making it harder to choose heart-healthy meals. Another concern is fried foods, especially those cooked in unstable seed oils such as soybean, corn, and canola oil, the oils used in most fast food restaurants. When heated at high temperatures, these oils oxidize, creating harmful compounds that inflame your arteries and disrupt your cholesterol balance. Even if the food tastes good, your arteries pay the price. And then there's alcohol, which raises triglycerides, adds stress to the liver, and disrupts fat metabolism. You don't need to avoid alcohol completely, but regular or heavy drinking, even just a few glasses of wine each night, can quietly push cholesterol and liver fat higher. The point isn't to live with fear or perfection, it's to become aware of the foods that quietly work against your healing, the foods that make your arteries inflamed, your liver overworked, your insulin spike, and your triglycerides climb. When you reduce these foods even a little bit, your body feels the relief. Your cholesterol begins to shift, your arteries begin to relax. And now that we've covered what helps and what harms your cholesterol, there's one more question people ask all the time. Are there natural supplements that can help lower cholesterol safely? That's what we'll explore in Part 7. Supplements people ask about. Whenever the topic of high cholesterol comes up, people always ask the same question. Are there natural supplements that actually help? The answer is yes, but with an important reminder. Supplements are tools, not magic. They work best when your diet, sleep, liver health, and daily habits are supporting the process. Still, a few natural options have real scientific evidence behind them, and they can gently help your body restore balance. One of the most widely studied supplements is omega-3 fatty acids, often found in fish oil. Omega-3 South help lower triglycerides, reduce inflammation inside the arteries, and even make LDL particles larger and less harmful. For people who don't eat fish regularly, a high-quality omega-3 supplement can be an effective way to support heart and liver health. The key is choosing a purified product with EPA and DHA, the forms your body uses most effectively. Another popular supplement is psyllium husk, a natural soluble fiber. It works the same way oatmeal does, by binding to cholesterol and helping your body remove it. Just a small daily serving can lower LDL and improve digestion at the same time. Many doctors in the US actually recommend fiber supplements as a first line of support, especially when triglycerides are high. Some people also explore garlic extract. While garlic alone won't fix high cholesterol, certain compounds in aged garlic have been shown to reduce LDL oxidation and support healthier blood pressure. Think of garlic as a gentle helper, small, steady support rather than a dramatic effect. Another supplement that gets a lot of attention is red yeast rice. It contains naturally occurring compounds that work similarly to statins, the medications doctors prescribe for high cholesterol. This means it can be effective, but it also means you should use it carefully. Because red yeast rice acts like a mild statin, it may not be safe for everyone, especially for people already taking cholesterol-lowering medications or those with liver conditions. It's a supplement that should always be discussed with your doctor first. Some people also use berberine, a plant extract that helps improve insulin sensitivity and lower triglycerides. Berberine can be helpful for people with metabolic syndrome or pre-diabetes, but it's not ideal for everyone and should be used cautiously, especially for those on medication. The most important thing to remember is that supplements are optional, not required. They can support you, but they cannot replace nourishing foods. A healthy liver, balanced blood sugar, calmer stress levels, or daily movement. Think of them as little helpers that walk alongside the lifestyle changes you make. And now that we've covered supplements, it's time to talk about something even more powerful: the lifestyle habits that naturally lower cholesterol, soften inflammation, and help your arteries heal. It's exactly what we'll explore in Part 8. Lifestyle habits that lower cholesterol. Now, let's talk about the part of healing that truly transforms your cholesterol over time, your daily habits. Not extreme diets, not intense workouts, not rigid routines, just simple, steady changes that gently shift your metabolism, calm inflammation, and support the heart and liver. These habits don't require perfection. They require consistency. And when practiced with patience, they can quietly reshape your health from the inside out. One of the most powerful habits is surprisingly simple: walking. Research shows that walking just 20 to 30 minutes a day can raise HDL, your good cholesterol, and help your body use triglycerides for energy. You don't need to run marathons or go to the gym every day. Even gentle walking softens inflammation, improves circulation, and helps lower the dangerous, small, dense LDL particles. Think of walking as medicine your body loves. Another important habit is sleep. Sleep is when your body repairs artery walls, lowers cortisol, balances hormones, and restores metabolic function. When you sleep fewer than 6 to 7 hours, triglycerides tend to rise, and cravings for sugar increase the next day. A calm, consistent bedtime routine, warm lighting, no screens, maybe a few minutes of deep breathing helps your body return to balance more easily than you might imagine. Stress management is equally important. Chronic stress raises cortisol, and high cortisol increases belly fat, insulin resistance, and the production of small LDL particles. Stress doesn't have to be dramatic to cause damage. Everyday worries, caregiving responsibilities, and financial pressure all contribute. Gentle practices like slow breathing, prayer, meditation, stretching, or even sitting quietly with a cup of tea can lower cortisol and reduce the strain on your arteries. Another powerful habit is eating earlier in the day. Many Americans eat late dinners or snack at night, which makes it harder for the body to burn fat and stabilize triglycerides. Simply shifting your last meal to earlier, even by 1 hour, gives your body more time to process fats and sugar before sleep. Small timing change often leads to better cholesterol numbers without changing what you eat. Reducing belly fat is also important. Even losing just 5 to 7% of your body weight, not a dramatic amount, can lower triglycerides, reduce inflammation, and improve HDL. Belly fat produces hormones that disrupt cholesterol balance, so a small reduction around the waist can bring surprisingly large improvements in metabolic health. Hydration matters too. Drinking enough water helps your liver and kidneys remove waste more efficiently. When the body is dehydrated, the blood becomes slightly thicker, and cholesterol can circulate differently. Staying hydrated keeps your metabolism running smoothly. Most of all, healing your cholesterol means showing your body kindness through movement, rest, breath, and nourishment. These simple habits, practiced gently and repeatedly, create a foundation that medication alone cannot match. And now that we've explored lifestyle habits, it's important to understand which people need to be especially careful with high cholesterol. People for whom even small imbalances carry extra risks. That's what we'll cover next in Part 9. Who should be careful? As we begin to connect all these pieces together, it's important to recognize that high cholesterol doesn't affect everyone in the same way. For some people, a slight imbalance may not cause major issues. But for others, even small changes in cholesterol can create bigger risks, and these individuals need to be especially careful, more aware, and more proactive. One group that should pay close attention is people with diabetes or prediabetes. When blood sugar is unstable, insulin rises, and this drives up triglycerides while lowering HDL. It also increases inflammation, which makes LDL more likely to turn into the dangerous small, dense form. For those already dealing with blood sugar challenges, cholesterol imbalance can progress more quickly. Another group includes people with fatty liver, or MASLD, because the liver is responsible for processing cholesterol. Any stress on the liver, even mild, can make LDL and triglycerides climb higher. Many Americans don't realize their liver is struggling until their cholesterol numbers start shifting. People taking statins or other cholesterol medications should also be mindful. While these medications can be helpful, they work best when supported by healthy habits. And because statins affect the liver, anyone using them long-term should stay aware of symptoms, monitor their numbers, and maintain nourishing lifestyle routines. Postmenopausal women are another group at higher risk. When estrogen drops, LDL often rises, and abdominal fat becomes easier to gain. This isn't a personal failure, it's biology. But it means women in their 50s, 60s, and beyond need to be extra gentle with their heart and liver through food, movement, and rest. People who drink alcohol regularly should also be careful. Even moderate drinking can raise triglycerides, stress the liver, and worsen cholesterol patterns over time. This doesn't mean you must give up alcohol completely. Just be mindful, especially if your numbers are already elevated. And finally, anyone with a family history of heart disease, stroke, or early cardiac events should stay particularly aware. Genetics don't determine your fate, but they do influence how easily your body handles cholesterol. Being in one of these groups doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It simply means your body needs a bit more attention, a bit more support, and a bit more kindness. Awareness is not fear, it's empowerment. And now we're ready for the final step of this journey, the gentle, healing conclusion that ties everything together and helps you feel in control of your health again. Let's move to Part 10.
We've covered a lot today: what cholesterol really is, why it becomes dangerous, the early signs your body whispers, the root causes, the foods that help, the foods that harm, the supplements people ask about, and the daily habits that gently guide your numbers back into balance. And after all of this information, I want to leave you with something simple, something hopeful. Your body is not broken. Your heart is not failing you. Your arteries are not your enemy. Everything your body does, even high cholesterol, is an attempt to protect you, to adapt, to keep you alive in the best way it knows how. Cholesterol rises when the body needs more repair. Triglycerides rise when blood sugar is unsteady. Plaque forms when inflammation goes untreated. These aren't signs of weakness. They're signals, messages, quiet requests for balance. And the beautiful truth is this: your body can heal. Not instantly, not magically, but steadily through nourishment, through movement, through rest, through calmer breathing, through kinder choices repeated day after day. Every small step you take becomes a message back to your body. I'm listening. I'm supporting you. We're doing this together. So wherever you are on your health journey, whether your cholesterol is a little high, very high, or just beginning to shift, know that nothing is set in stone. You can still protect your heart. You can still support your liver. You can still strengthen your arteries. You can still feel better, breathe easier, and live with more peace than you thought possible. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this video brought you clarity.com or hope, feel free to subscribe for more simple, science-backed guidance to support your healing journey. And remember, healing doesn't happen in one big moment. It happens in the quiet choices you make every single day. Take a deep breath and know that your body is on your side.